Hi, manze guys. Happy New Year, bana. Welcome to this year, the first ever episode ya Dimba Desk. Hapa hivi ndani ya CMG Posh Media Studios. Before hata niende mbali, my brother, introduction yourself. Our first guest
of 2025.
Bana.
Kwa majina wananijua kama Steve Njuguna. But you can call me whatever you want.
Ama they can call you to their place.
Hapana, I'm a very good man.
Nasema good men ndio mnaumia.
Nice guys finish last, but at least we finish. Anyway,
finish last. Okay, we will not delve much into that.
Happy New Year to everybody. Now this year has a lot in store for us, and we can't wait to see. We can't wait to start and see what's going to happen.
We started on a very high note, tukiweka Mapinduzi Cup. Tukaanza na a draw
against Burkina Faso.
Against Burkina Faso, and then we went ahead to win against Tanzania. And then tukapatana na miamba kina Fei Toto wakatufanyia kazi mazee. Ulionaje ile performance?
I think the tournament will serve its purpose. The purpose was to allow Coach Kimanzi to identify which squad he can select for CHAN. Because the idea was, of course, CHAN was to be played in February, but it's now been postponed to August. We'll get to that later.
Yeah, that's coming after this, yeah.
But the performances, I can say were good. The first one against Burkina Faso, we played very well. We controlled large facets of the game against a team we knew nothing about. Yeah. Second one against Tanzania, I can also say that I can positively say that we dominated. There were a few defensive frailties here and there. Against Zanzibar, aside from the fact that we lost our cool, we had been in control of that game. We had gotten a few good chances. And then Aboud ended up calling the referee the M word.
Are we talking about the M word inatumika kwa hiyo ngoma ya wakardinali ama? Okay.
But also aside from that, pia huo referee is what huku watu wengine might describe him as a mtiaji. Because you're a full-grown official, why are you punching an opposition player? Yeah. He looked very emotional. So, but aside from that, the exit was ignominious. We didn't qualify and go to the final. But either way, I think the purpose of the tournament was to test those players. And we saw some good things. We saw Ryan Ogam getting his first goal for Harambee Stars. We saw Mohamed Bajaber getting his first start. We saw Kelly Madada. We saw different options that can be used in defense.
Mutinda,
we saw him the ex-Thika United.
Unapenda kusifu timu zako za Thika
magari. By the way, kijana ni wa area. Thika Road nayo tumesaidia
football kabisa.
Wanafuata watu wakituona wananini kidogo.
Wana salute.
Aside from that, area of concern for me will be how do we deal with the national team going forward? Because they said there's a coach, it's Benny McCarthy. Coach Kim was supposed to handle CHAN, but now it seems like CHAN will be in August. So will he leave the keys to Benny and become director of football as it was said? We wait to see that executive decision. And also, what type of squad will we be building, especially in terms of youth? What direction will Benny take? Because the reality is we have World Cup qualifiers in which the top two in the group can proceed to the next round. We would want to go for that in March. But also you have to look at the aspect that we have a very promising young squad. We have the Ibrahim Wanzalas, the Amos Wanjalas of this world.
The Ali Manzours.
Ali Manzours, the Humphrey Arokos of this world. Will we sacrifice the World Cup dream, in quotes, juu yenyewe tushanyorosho kidogo kwa hiyo group, but there's still a chance? Will we sacrifice that dream in favor of bringing these youngsters in
the fall,
in a bid to strengthen them a bit for CHAN and for AFCON? Or do we go full out, bring in the big guns, bring in the Mapakes, bring in the Masouds?
Masoud, yeah.
Because Masoud is back in form right now. He's scoring goals in Iran. So that is something that Benny has to decide if he's going to be the national team coach. Naweza kuapa na Ropoko alafu tupate
kuna mtu mwingine but
Robert Matano
from kutokana na nini na Benny na history yake. Do you think he's the right kind of coach for Harambee Stars? Given where we are as a team right now.
It's too early to tell. His credentials as a coach cannot be disputed. This is somebody who has coached in Europe in the top flight, in the Dutch top flight, as a head coach.
Yeah.
Recently, he was with EPL giants Man United as their
With
strikers, as their striking coach. I'm not repeating that. As their striking coach.
Yeah.
Aside from that, he's coached Cape Town City, so he knows how to coach in CAF competitions. He knows the permutations. He's worked with Kenyan players before. He's the same guy who signed Masood Juma to Cape Town City FC in 2017.
Yeah.
And during that time, even if you read the press statements from that time and Masood speaking at that time, he said he learnt a lot from McCarthy because McCarthy is a striker,
He's a striker.
and he's
Ben,
also
yeah,
a striker.
yeah.
So this is someone who you can say he has the familiarity, he has the experience, but he has never coached a national team setup before.
So it
National
would be a
team
first
is
time, yeah.
six to 10 games a year. You have to prepare, and all of your results and your progress are judged on those games.
Each game is a final.
And you have to choose from a pool of at least 100 players. You have to choose 26. So what becomes of that? Right now, who do you even put as number 9 in Kenya right now? Will you start Olunga? He's the top scorer in Qatar.
Oh.
Okay, will you leave Ogam out, or will you force him to play in midfield? Okay, Masood is back.
Masood is back, yeah.
All those questions that were, you remember the whole
Avire is there.
the whole things that were being asked between Omala and Olunga, that whole time that was there. So these are the things you have to deal with in every position. You have Matasi, you have
Bain, you have Shikalo.
You have Shikalo. You also have Ibrahim Wanzala, who's a youngster, and you might be thinking of giving him some time. So who do you choose? Centre backs, who do you choose?
Do you start Rooney?
You have Crouch, you have Omurwa. You have so many options.
Change.
You have Rooney. Do you start him as a winger or do you start him as a right back? Because according to me, the only two players who I think can start in Harambee Stars undisputedly as long as they are fit, and that's Olunga and Rooney. That is given. Liwe liwalo on lazima waanze. So
utanzisha nani?
Where do we go?
There's
Where do we go
Akumu,
from here?
there's a Rambo, there's Brian Musa.
Exactly.
Mutinda. You have to choose.
And remember, one bad choice here, you're already down one game and you only have maybe 6 or 7 in a year. So it's a tough job. I can only wish him the best because as a Kenyan, I want our team
The best for Kenya.
to do well.
Okay, the CHAN competitions have been postponed. Nyayo has been approved to be one of the grounds where CHAN will be played. There's an upgrade of police circle, Ulinzi.
Yeah. Also Kirigiti,
Kasa,
there's been some work done on Kirigiti as well.
and Kirigiti. Do you think this is an opportunity for the government to maybe work on other grounds in Kenya? There's also Annex and Annex B. We also have Annex B.
Yeah. It's basically we've been given a get out of jail free card because I don't think we would have been fully ready by February. Maybe we would have rushed things. Now we've been given an additional, almost 7 months. So it's now completing these things and completing them well. Planning, having the committees instead, giving them time to do their work, marketing it well, giving the country that fever. There's a fever that grips a country when you're about to host a major tournament. A major tournament. You could feel it, like, remember when there was those friendlies at SportPesa with Everton and Hull City, and they were coming here. You could just feel the anticipation.
Yeah.
We weren't feeling it for this CHAN. Maybe we would have built up to it, but it would within 1 month, maybe that would not have been sufficient.
But
now
I
we
think
can
there was a commercial by Azam.
Yeah, I think so too.
Did you watch it? Did you watch it?
I think I did. And I will disable the comments out of respect for the great people of that organization.
Okay.
May God bless them.
Amen. So we have more time to prepare.
More time to even do the logistical things. Because I saw, like, Jana and there was someone who was floating a tender for transport. And I'm thinking, okay, it's less than 4 weeks to the tournament. Saa hii ndio watu wanaanza kusikiza vitu kaa hizo.
Transport nini?
Because that will be a problem. You're talking about CHAN, you're talking about one team coming with, including backroom staff and everybody, at least a delegation of 40 to 50 people.
Yeah.
Aside from that, they have their fans. Aside from that, they have all the other things, VIPs, dignitaries. If you've not sorted out these things, you will have crisis after crisis. The whole tournament will just be fighting fires. Because what happens if, let's say here in Kenya, you're given, out of 16 teams, let's say you're given 8 teams.
Yeah.
Okay. All of your stadiums that are approved are within Nairobi. So basically, within Nairobi and its metropolitan area, you have to look after 8 different teams that will have 8 different preferences, and each of those teams will have fans that will come in. It'll be a circus, including now also sasa hata sisi fans pia sisi home team
jamii ya Kenya pia,
all of those things. So you have to have the time so that by the time everything comes, you have clearly outlined this is happening here, this is happening here,
and your house is in order.
Your house is in order.
Nice. Okay, there are games the NSL over the weekend. Looking at the table, Nona APS Bomet sit on top of the table with 29 points, having just conceded 9. SSAD have conceded the most, 25, but they're still above Muhoroni. Hizo results, according to you, maybe wacha tu nizipitie juju, uniambie kama kuna upsets ama kuna vitu zenye zilikuja as expected. Naona timu yangu Nzoia inaendelea ikiwin as expected. So Mofa home to Darajani Gogo, they won 1-0. Muhoroni Youth lost to Nzoia 3-2. Vihiga United won against SSAD 2-1. Migori Youth drew against Fortune Sacco 1-1. Mombasa Stars suffered against Naivas at home 4-1. Dimba Patriots were no match to APS Bomet 2-1. 3K FC Kibera Black Stars 1-0, very controversial.
Very controversial there, yeah.
And Kisumu All Stars drew against Mombasa United. Luanda Villa suffered against Nairobi United. There's a story we're going to talk about hapo kwa Nairobi United. And then MCF drew against some West Black Boots. Twende hapo kwa 3K FC. There's a video that's doing rounds on social media where the fans became rowdy after apparently unfair judgment from the official. Comment?
So there were 3 goals disallowed by 3KFC, or rather 4 3KFC that were disallowed by the referee and his team.
Okay.
Labda muone hiyo video. In my honest opinion, at least 2 of those goals were goals. But even those who are the most contrarian agree that at least one of those goals should have gone in. Yeah. Anyway, I think the anger and the fury led the fans to attack the officials at the end of the game. And, as much as people are angry, I honestly think there's no justification for attacking anyone physically, whether inside the game of football or not. However badly done you are done, there are ways to process these things. There are ways to do appeals.
To handle them, yeah.
Maybe it's because 3K is new in the league and they've never had a team that are in the NSL. They feel hard done by. Remember also, this is the unbeaten streak being finished. But it was unbecoming behavior from a team that in the last 2 seasons has shown exemplary performance, both in the way they've been administrated and in the way they've been playing their football. So first of all, the blame goes to the genesis of the problem, and that's the officiating. Because if some of those decisions had been thought through, that scenario wouldn't have happened. That said, the guys at 3K need to shape up. The guys at Embu, their stadium, need to shape up, because also they need, one of the prerequisites is to be able to provide adequate security for the match officials. Na hizi ndio vitu zinafanya sasa hata some referees wanaenda magame wanakataa
kuingia ground.
Kuna wale walikataa kuref game ya Shabana na Posta Rangers na hao hata hawakuwa wameguzwa, so now you can imagine how referees will be feeling once they go to Embu. So
watakuwa wanakaa tu anytime watakuwa wanaguswa.
So it's time for FKF now also to sit down with 3K and give disciplinary action, and also to sit down with the referees and review that incident and gauge if there is something that's needed there, because at the end of the day, the real victim here is the referee, to be honest.
Yeah.
He was the one who was physically attacked, whether he did his work wrong or not, because you can't accuse him of match fixing if you don't have any proof of it.
You have to prove, yeah.
He could just be a poor ref.
The poor decision making too.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean you need to beat him up. He also
You
has
beat
a family
sense
to
into
feed. So that's my take on the issue.
Okay, sawa. Nairobi United sijui wanajenga nini wale Naiboys. Nimeona Muyoti will be joining them as a head coach, not confirmed yet. Does it change the title race pale NSL?
It does, because you look at Nicholas Muyoti, his quality as a coach has always been there. Ever since even he was still a player at AFC, he transitioned immediately from playing into assistant coaching.
Yeah.
And he's a guy who has always had an eye for tactics. And we've seen that at the teams he's been with, at City Stars title race with them.
Yeah.
His first season. At Kakamega Homeboys during the COVID season, hao ndio walipeleka Gor mbio kabisa. They were only a few points away, but they fell off towards the end during transition committee.
Yeah.
So this is someone who's been involved in these intense situations, including coaching in the NSL. I remember he was Thika United's coach when they were there. Of course, the team was on a downward spiral. There was no money. But this is someone who has the experience. And in an NSL that is so tight right now, that number 1 and number 10 are separated by 8 points, you need that type of person. You need someone who is a cut above his peers. Because you look at all the other coaches in the NSL, let's be honest, and of course, lots of respect to those coaches. They're quality coaches. Maybe Hesbon Nyabinge at MCF is the one who has that type of pedigree of Muyoti. I mean, the others, there's the likes of Leonard Saleh. He's an experienced coach. He was even at KCB.
The likes of Lavata.
Lavata is more of a rookie.
Yeah.
I'm talking about, recently being involved in those title conversations, Muyoti is a coach who was even wanted by the likes of AFC Leopards, So, it will be a big boost for Nairobi United, but only if the players buy into what he has to say.
He's selling, yeah. Okay, a couple of matches over the weekend. Nzoia Sugar is hosting Stima. I think I'm using Google. They're still using the former
that
names.
Should be Mombasa, yeah.
I don't know, because Stima is United or Stars.
I think Mombasa Elite. New Mombasa.
New Stars na United.
It's one of them.
Anyway, so Nzoia in a host one of them in Sudi Stadium. Prediction?
And that one Nzoia will win. Hiyo Nzoia watashinda. Wataita tu zinaitagwa aje, wanaitaga nini? Bees.
Nyuki.
Wataita tu nyuki half time zikuje zisumbue watu.
The disrupt. And then another team, Modern Coast Rangers.
Hiyo sasa ndio the other Mombasa team.
Wanacheza na MCF.
MCF have been fair. I could say that may be a draw. The Mombasa teams have also been struggling a lot. I think also finances have been a problem.
But I think they're playing at home, so they'll have that home boost. Naivas hosting Luanda Villa.
Naivas have been having a problem scoring goals. Defensively, they are very good. They've actually only conceded 13 this season, or 14 this season. But scoring, they are on an issue. They are hosting Luanda Villa, a team that scores very freely.
Yeah.
So for me, I expect a high scoring, or rather, I expect a draw that has goals. Maybe 1-1 or something of the sort. Maybe even a 2-2.
Okay. Nairobi United host Mulembe United.
That's a Nairobi United win.
Okay. Some West Black Bulls hosting Kisumu All Stars.
That one I'll give the Black Boots.
Kibera Stars versus Mofa in Nairobi.
That will be a tough one. Those are the young men coached by Lavazza.
Yeah.
Going against
Michael Olunga.
Michael Olunga. Remember, Lavazza and Olunga are actually teammates.
Yeah.
That's just how life goes. So, no, that will be an interesting one. Mofa play very well away from home. I'm actually impressed by how they play away from home. But Kibera is a hard place for anyone to get any points. So that one I'll give the home team.
Kibera Black Stars.
Yeah.
Darajani Gogo host 3K FC.
That one is also another one. I think 3K right now mentally are not in the best place to go and get 3 points anywhere. The best they can hope for there is a draw, but I don't also think they'll get that. I think Darajani will win.
Okay, Muhoroni youth are traveling to SS Assad in Mombasa. This is a battle of relegation.
It's a very big relegation battle, but remember, Muhoroni are the ones who are traveling 800 kilometers from Muhoroni all the way to Kilifi. Or not Kilifi, to Kwale to face Assad. So I think I'll give that to the home team.
Yes. APS Bomet hosting Migori Youth.
APS Bomet are on top of the table right now. They are very good at handling pressure situations, but Migori Youth have also been on the slip. So I'll give the Bomet the Afandes.
The Afandes.
But who anti-stock theft. Nitawapea hiyo.
Aya basi Fortune Sacco Dimba Patriots.
In Kirinyaga.
Yeah, in Kirinyaga.
Fortune are right now are unbeatable at home, so I'll give that one to Fortune.
Okay, Wadadia resolved.
So they decided, Wadadia, the Kenya Women's Premier League team out of Mumias, resolved to break camp and, basically dissolve the team.
Yeah.
Because of lack of finances. And they are not the only team this weekend to do that, especially in the women's section. Eldoret Falcons did the same, which is something that's sad. Eldoret Falcons is a team that has actually won the league. Even Wadadia have also won the league in the past. But the reality is, compared to their male counterparts, it's very hard for women's teams to raise money. First of all, there's the issue of funds. They don't have as much funds as their male counterparts. Second, they don't have a broadcast deal. They are not on TV. So they don't have that exposure. So, most sponsors approach them with a view of, okay, let me just do a bit of CSR, acha niwarushie pesa kidogo. But the reality is their logistics are equally as expensive as the men's, if not even more. Same distances, because you look at that Wadadia, they'll still be expected to come all the way to Nairobi to play the Nairobi-based teams. So it's sad for football. It's sad for the people of that region, because Wadadia is a team that has produced a lot of players who ended up in the national team.
Okay.
But it brings in the conversation of the private sector. For me, I always say, okay, we always stand up and say, what has FKF done? What has government done? But the reality is, every civilized society that has thriving football environments or sporting environments, all of that comes from having a private sector that overwhelmingly supports the sports and sees value in them. So, who's at fault here? I say everyone. The clubs have not shown the private sector the value they can get from supporting them. But also the private sector have also not ventured and become, brave enough to put money in these organizations and see how it will come out. So we need to have that conversation more often as a country and say, are we doing enough in our own capacity? Even the fans. Well, labda huwezi sponsor team, but si unaweza enda watch game ulipe 50 bob hapo kwa gate.
Iwasaidie hapa na pale, because ukiangalia team kama 3K, they're talking about 100K and above from gate collections. The same cannot be said about games za madam. In fact, most of them zinakuwa free, si ndio?
Ziko free, but also what type of support are you offering in the large scale of things, scheme of things? Let's say Shika, you are a conglomerate ya maziwa, let's say kuna lori tano za maziwa. Mi nimewakili. Ukona lori tano za maziwa zenye zinapigaga hizi marut, and maybe you can spare 1 or 2 crates per week and give your local team. Why not do that? Wapatie. It doesn't have to be even financial support. It can be material support. Yeah. How can you help them? Like Sheka, you are a well-known entertainer. If they call you and tell you, so kuje to this gig and now uambie watu ikibaba sana wapi duru, so you'll go.
Haraka sana man. Lazima nifike.
You find your small ways, and not only the women's teams, but even saka hizi teams za mtaa za sub county na ligi na nini. That's the only way you can help them grow.
Okay. Tukiingia ndani ya KPL kidogo, tukimaliza shughuli, KCB bado wako top of the league. Tusker wali drop points away in Shabana. Gor in a top 3 conversation with a game in hand. Could we say this league is as good as Gor Mahia's?
Well, of course, you can never write off Gor Mahia. They have been champions for the last few years for a reason. The last time somebody took a trophy from them was 2016 when Tusker got the double. That's almost 10 years ago.
When which team?
Tusker.
Okay.
Got the double. So we cannot rule them off or act as if they can't recover from whatever issues they are having. But that said, KCB have good momentum, and they also have, and I cannot stress this enough, they have goal scorers. You have Kahiro, you have Kinyanjui.
Yeah.
They are both at their peaks right now in their careers. Kinyanjui's talent was always evident from his time at Pasenga High School when he won the 2017 Kenya National secondary school games there when they had the likes of Boniface Muhehe. But in the KPL, he never really arrived until this season. He was at Mathare, he was at Thika, he's been at Bandari. In a season, he always had, mediocre output. A few assists, a few goals here, played well along the... This season, it's like he's been unlocked. It's like there is another level he has reached that he had never reached before. Already he has 7 assists. That's very impressive by the standards of KPL. And you see it's helping Kahiro up there up front because he's now also getting amongst the goals. So hopefully they can handle the pressure of being in a title race with a team as aggressive as Gor Mahia. Because Gor Mahia get that extra win when they have their fans behind them. You can't also write out Tusker because Ogam is back. When he's not playing, they lose. But when he's there, he scores and they win. They let Shafan Siwa go to Tanzania, which for me was very surprising. I don't think the Tusker is a team that can fail to match the amount of money that Siwa is going to get in Tanzania. But if they're able to replace him adequately, then they'll be, because Siwa already had 9 assists, which very impressive. So that one, we'll just leave it to fate and see how it will go.
Okay. Couple of KPL matches today and over the weekend. Police play Posta Rangers, Tusker with Bandari. Predictions?
Well, both games at Machakos. Posta Rangers, brand new coach Sami Pamzo Omolo. Not necessarily a brand new coach. He was their coach 2 seasons ago before he went to Shabana. Posta have been in good form. I don't know kama walilipo ama nini recently. But if Pamzo can get that new coach bounce and get maybe a few more wins, they'll be able to survive this relegation battle that is looming. Police seem to have their ship in order right now with the Burundian at the helm.
Yeah.
They want to see if they can make a late push into that title race. Let's see whether they have the temperament or the experience to get into it.
Okay. Tusker hosting Bandari with Ogam back and Erambo.
Bandari right now, when they travel to Machakos, sijawaiona nikawa wanapataga mapoints, labda wakicheza na wanyonge. So I would give Tusker that one.
Okay, FC Talanta.
It's important when you look at this fixture to put the relegation aspect in play. Of course, not for AFC, they've been in decent form enough. But for Talanta, they are 17th, Bidco is 16th. Bidco themselves are going to play a tough game away to Kakamega. Talanta are also, of course, playing a tough game here against AFC. It's now about who can make the most out of the remaining 14 or so match days. We know Bidco, especially when Coach Ahule is back, as he is right now from those CAF duties. This is a team that's capable of even stringing together 4 or 5 victories in a row. Talanta have never shown that. They win one, draw one, lose one. So they have this opportunity to see if they can take advantage of AFC's weaknesses. Because defensively, AFC have had their own issues. And get some much needed 3 points and get some breathing space and put pressure on Bidco and the others also who are trying to get out of that zone.
Okay, on Sunday we have KCB City Stars, and then Murangasil versus Police, Sofapaka, Posta Rangers, Bandari, Shabana, and then Tusker, Gor.
Tusker versus Gor, a game with a lot of history, game with a lot riding on it. Tusker winning that game would be a very strong signal of intent, saying that, we are in the title race and we are here to stay.
We're here to stay, yeah.
Gor winning that race would actually be a psychological blow to both Tusker and also KCB, because they'll be like, okay, Gor is now breathing down, catching up, and they have they're breathing there. So for Paka versus Posta, it's a battle of two teams with new coaches.
Yeah.
Remember, so for Paka is also down there. Posta is also down there. They are trying to get themselves up. So that one will be very, very hard fought. KCB facing City Stars. City Stars, left their assistant coach in charge. KCB will be thinking these are 3 points we can get easily if we apply ourselves. But if they underestimate City Stars, they'll be surprised, because that's not a team that you should be underestimating.
Okay, Moranga Seal versus Police.
Seal managed a 0-0 result with Bidco over the weekend. They are facing a Police side that has not necessarily hit the heights, especially in terms of goal scoring. All their alternatives don't seem to be scoring. Ukiona, the team is relying on the likes of Kinanga, who has been playing football, since, since
they were in NSL.
Even before NSL, Kinanga started with Police FC when they were in the lower leagues. But not to say he's not a good player. All I'm saying is that, they've tried everything. They've put Jesse Were there. Sometimes they never really replaced Machapo when he left. Tito Okello tried, but he got injured. But they never really replaced that gap of goals that Machapo used to bring them. And that will be a factor. For Police, I look at them and I'm thinking, how are they building up for the next seasons? They need to be thinking of who they're going to bring in next season, who will be an X factor for next season's title chase. This season, they're still in it. I'm not saying they're not.
Yeah.
But they need to be thinking that way. Who is that vital striker I can bring in? Because midfield-wise, they have one of the best midfields around. They have one of the best defenses around. They have arguably Kenya's most consistent midfielder, Kenneth Muguna, over the years. So they'll have to put that in consideration.
Okay. Any last words? Tukimalizia show sasa.
Last words for the episode. Si ati unaenda kuninyonga hapa.
Sasa kwani kukunyonga?
Wajua amesema hii ni last words, labda anataka kunipiga kichwa.
Nipige nini? Si ati uko na demu unaweza ibiwa?
Okay.
Silikuwa
lazima useme kweli. I'm very excited for the year actually, because there's so much that's going to happen this year. AFCON at the end of the year, CHAN in August, KPL, NSL, KWPL. I think it's going to be a year in which we are going to see a lot of changes going on, especially with the new regime.
Yeah.
I'm waiting to see if they
fresh
can
start.
yeah, if the start will be as fresh. And for me, I'm entering with optimism.
Okay. Safi sana manze. We always say thank you very much guys for tuning in. Mwanzo wa show hadi mwisho, for always being there, commenting, liking, sharing, turning on notifications. Thank you very much. Of course, tunakumbusha show yetu inafanyika hapa hivi ndani ya CMG Posh Media. You are number one place for podcasting. If you want, kama unatafuta PA system, unataka kutoa mziki, unatafuta jingles, unatafuta jingles, unatafuta maybe ma DJ, unataka kupigwa picha, videography, photography, must just hit us up on our social media, CMG Posh Media Studios. Alafu tutakuwa nakupeleka na mtaratara venye kuna kwenda. Otherwise, from the desk tunaambia namna gani my brother?
Goodbye.
Adios muchacho.